Okay. Sorry about that. Well, now all of a sudden my voice is going to go. Hold on. All right. So, looks like our country's really in the toilet. Sorry if you agree with it. I don't. Trump is out of control. I'm not liking him right now. Don't tune out. That's not what this video is about. And I don't know how loud I should talk or not talk. But I wanted to talk about Independence Day. It's now usually called the 4th of July, but it's Independence Day is the technical name, which is on the 4th of July. Okay. And it was on a Friday this year, and extremely hot. I've got some, if you hear a buzzing noise in the background, that's an industrial fan that my brother lent me when his basement was flooded out. Can you hear this? I hope you can. I better get closer. And yeah, whatever. Wait, did I turn this back on? Yeah, I mean, I am going nuts. Yes, I am going nuts. So I wanted to talk about immigration and the shit that Obama, or not Obama, well, it might as well have been Obama. It's the same shit. I mean, who was Joe Biden anyway, right? And by the way, who cares if he had cancer? I don't care. You could still serve in office and have cancer. I'm sure. Haven't other presidents done that? Didn't Reagan have colon cancer? I don't know. I don't remember. Um, I'm trying. Oh my god. Hang on. All right, because I don't know how. Okay, I'm just gonna get right to it, with the hopes that no one in my building hears me do this video. So let's pull up what was this guy doing on the 4th of July? I remember. I think it was 2018. No, it was 2019, or it could have been 2018. One or the other, where he had that yeah, it was 18, I think, and he had that unbelievable um for Independence Day celebration at Mount Rushmore. And then, of course, he wasn't allowed to do that anymore. I guess that was just too controversial. Oh my God, no, we can't use one of our federal parks. Mount Rushmore, isn't that a national park or a state park or monument? I don't know. I camp out there. I know that. Not right there at the thing. But outside there, there's just this little spot, hopefully, that won't ever be changed, because it seems that every time I go back to one of my favorite camping spots, it's moved, or a big, huge ass RV is sitting there. But this was tent only in the section I was in, and there were only 4 sites, and it was just wonderful. And let's just say it was. I mean, I shot videos when I was down in the Badlands. I could not get any service there, which was kind of weird. Um, because it was near a sort of a large. It was, I mean, site way across the road, but kind of down a gulch, right? And so it really didn't interfere with anything I was doing. And I mean, I heard a band playing at night, but that was about it. This was not. This was in August of 2022, and have no idea where I'm going with this. I have so much on my damn mind right now. I trail off. But Trump did this Independence Day thing, And he was still able to play his rock music without that stupid ass Lara Trump coming in with all her fucking country music bullshit. Here, let me do a country music tune for you. I've been down and I've been more down, and I might take my shotgun and just go out shooting. What is it? But now it's like pop country, and I swear to the Lord, I never ever 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 want to hear "Proud to Be an American" ever again. I mean, that song, the first time I heard it was after 9/11. Um, a few times here and there. I mean, because I don't listen to that garbage, that Lee Greenwood. Oh my God. But Trump played his rock music. He played, Cowgirl in Sand, and that's Neil Young. That is just the most phenomenal jam. One of them. But Cowgirl in the Sand is pretty nuts. And if you don't know it, get the long regular version off of the original album. Everybody knows This Is Nowhere. That's the name of the album. And if you have a decent stereo, it'll blow your mind. Okay, we're finished with that. I actually was crying during that time, and just as that was finishing up, that rally that he did, that celebration, and Kristi Noem before her makeup and her makeover, and she runs around with a baseball cap on, looking ever so professional in blue jeans. I mean, this is the head of the Department of Homeland Security. She goes into a bar restaurant in DC, and somehow, I want you to think about this. Here's the head of the Department of Homeland Security can't keep track of a purse at a restaurant in DC. I I don't even know if I believe that story. How could someone be that fucking stupid? At that point, Trump should have just slowly ushered her the fuck out of there. Because if she can't keep track of her own handbag, she doesn't. She's not going to do shit for this country. Yeah, I know you got Tom Homan, and they show pictures of people in handcuffs. That could be anything. That could be anyone. I could get handcuffs put on. I could have someone take a picture and just show it from the waist down with my hands cuffed. I saw a picture like that once in front. They cuffed the hands in front instead of back, which I thought was odd. And I was supposed to think, yeah, ICE is doing their job here, America. Fuck it. Because now he's a very bellicose man with his warmongering. And this shit with Iran, you think that's over? 12 days war. Please. I wish you guys would listen to my entire video that I did on that. I thought it was funny. I get zero comments. No one gives a shit. No one likes the content. That's evident. And I used to do videos saying how much I loved Trump, and I used to cry. I mean, I actually used to cry listening to when he did some of his rallies. And no prompter. And now he like turns his body, and mouse whatever, you know, Milikowski tells him to do. And if you don't know who the hell that is, just look it up. Because they all change their names, don't they? Keep the money coming. Puts a freeze on the Ukraine spending now. Or I don't like what Putin's saying. Why don't you meet with Putin? You promised to be the negotiator, the art of the deal. Instead, he sends in people on his behalf. Why doesn't he just fucking do it? He was on that track. And then no offense to anyone from England or France, Well, I mean, that dude from France, what's his name again? Macron, he is so effing weird. And I don't know what's going on with his wife. I don't know what's going on there either. Okay. So you have that. So, which means, and then he puts a temporary freeze on certain things to Ukraine. Ukraine's, we need to fund our government. I need my cocaine. And that stupid Keir Starmer comes over here. You know, Trump still sends weapons over there because it was part of the Biden package, and now his bellicosity toward Russia is going straight there again. I mean, it's just this is bullshit. In the meantime, you know, I can't get help, you know, with the shit that's happened to me. Honestly, all I ever wanted to do was just sort of be off the grid, not off the grid with electricity, but sort of just off the grid and under the radar. I just wanted to be alone, and not fucked with. Apparently, that's just never going to happen. It seems like anybody that tries to do that somehow gets snagged into the fucking system. Somehow. I mean, just the thought when I was laying on the road of going to a hospital freaked me out so bad. And then that they wanted to start jabbing me and testing me. They denied treatment because I refused to test a COVID test. They let me sit there. I was bleeding internally. What kind of fucking system do we live in? I was blackmailed by these people so many times. I told them I can't take Tylenol. They were giving me these huge capsules. I said that I can't take. I mean, I was run over by a fucking 6,000 pound thing. I don't think two Tylenol is going to help. Eventually, they just backed off and I mean, I had to keep saying, I am not taking Tylenol. Okay. Got it? But for about the first like 10 days, I was like, they said, well, if you don't take that, we're not answering your light. We're not giving you, your pain meds. Well, you have to, this is what I was told. You have to take that to make the program work. I thought program. And so the only trauma this guy he never had seen trauma like mine, but he was so arrogant that he thought going off a hospital protocol site, some spending 5 hours tinkering in my body would help me. Ugh. So I'm not real happy with the United States of America right now. And Trump, fucking whatever happened to repeal and replace? What happened to that? Oh, I know, Ron Johnson. But don't worry, he took 7 trips to Ukraine during Obama Biden years. 7. And he wears a little, Ukraine lapel pin. And he stands with Milikowski. He stands with him because he has to. I promise only to run 2 terms because I don't want to be a career politician. This is how he said it. Career politician, career politician, career politician. Oh, career. But he didn't pronounce it properly. And every now and then he sticks his neck out. But, as with the case with Grace Shara, right in his back door, right in the Fox Valley, right at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Appleton, and Ascension Hospital. I can't remember if I did surgeries at St. E's or not. Most of them were done at a surgery center or at the big hospital, Theta Clark. Um, Maybe I was there. But most of the doctors that I called on, and one of them was like my biggest prescriber. I mean, I was 3 times a week, I was in that area. So I know it. Actually, I was driving there when I heard his speech in 2010, and I was like screaming with joy in the car. I said, because he was running on getting rid of Obamacare. Has he done anything? No, he just sticks his neck out every now and then talking about Vaselines. P.S. That's a code word. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's see what this person has put out. Oh, he pinned a flag. That's a Caroline. Leave it. Oh, Caroline, that go back to Dress Barn, honey. Become a clerk there, because that's about as good as You're not happy Fourth of July again. Not happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Is Melania getting an? What is she dancing for? To she is she getting an ass? Or he does everything indoors with like a country band now. He's no longer a rock and roller. That appeals to his demographic. His demographic reads the Schofield Bible and sits in churches that aren't real churches. They're more like, it's because I remember, especially back in the early twos, I remember specifically during the 90s. Oh, we don't like Catholicism. Well, then you're not a good Catholic and you don't know your religion well enough. The Catholic Church is very much political. It's run by Masons, but there are people like me that are aware of these dangers and that belong to groups that think so otherwise. I don't know how else that are aware of this, but we just do our traditional Catholic prayers. I've told the channel before, I do a lot in Latin. I mean, I'll just start praying in Latin. If I'm doing a rosary, all of a sudden it'll just start coming out Latin. You know. Oh no, I'm not. I just picked it up. I wanted to learn it. I've forgotten a lot of it because I had a I I'm having, memory problems now since my accident. You'll have to, and I'm just being honest with you. You have to please excuse me. It's coming back, but I go through periods where I'm like, a lot of times I just can't take it anymore. But let's get back to me. Okay. So, or get back to why I wanted to do this video. I'm pissed off. I'm not happy. I really could give a shit that they're standing on the balcony doing a dance. Oh, wow. That's cool. This is how pissed off I am right now. Oh, a military family picnic. And they're walking out like King Charles and Queen Camilla. Okay, so Trump has really, really gained a hell of a lot of weight, too. So, I was really bullish on Trump. And I got, like, actually got a reply from right now I'm on Twitter. My channel that I've been, or my handle that I've been using for quite a while, somehow, um, like, I was suspended for telling Trump to go to. I didn't even spell the word out. I just said go to HE or H asterisk LL. This was like a month ago. You know what happened? I was suspended for a week. I couldn't believe it because I was threatening harm to someone. think I already talked about this. So when I try to go back in, I wanted to read something, so I hit the back arrow right as I was ready to proceed to my account because I was suspended. Okay, fine. I dealt with that. So then I hit the back arrow and now I'm locked out like indefinitely. Are you a real person? And then it says, we're sending a message to your email. Message never comes to my email. So this account I opened in 2020. I actually got a response back from, let's do this, Michael Tracy, which I couldn't fucking believe. He absolutely hates Trump, which, like, doesn't matter one way or the other. But my profile has Maha in there, but I believe that RFK Jr. was using the term Maha um, before MAGA, or before he was um, part of Trump's team. I'm pretty sure. I'll ask Grok later. I'm not going to bore you guys with it. Let's just keep going down. Okay. So my issue right now is with illegals. Wait, not illegals, just people that come to my country right now. And I don't know if you agree with me or not. Thanks for joining us. Fuck you. Um, I can't even read. I can't look at him. I can't read anything. I really don't care. Oh, he addressed the nation on June 21st. Big fucking deal with these people. Oh, I want to vomit. Okay. All right. So we'll look at the flag. How's that? So, as you know, I have spoken about my neighbors that came here. And about a week ago, they told me they've been here 9 months from Iran. And I went overboard, never doing this again. Well, I tend to shower as much niceness as I can on people just out of nature. And they were pretty nice to me. They helped me a couple of times when they saw me carrying groceries up and shit like that. Okay. And they've only been here a month. Okay. And so this heat wave started kind of bad. It went from being quite chilly. I mean, I was still wearing a leather jacket like 3 weeks ago. Okay. So about 2 weeks ago, and I had talked to them, and they had their apartment door open so I could see their apartment. And they don't really have any furniture or anything. And I was under the impression that, and they don't have a car, and they ride bikes everywhere or take the bus. Okay, that's fine. And they're both, one of them's getting her PhD, probably so she can just be here forever now. Sorry, in public health, which I absolutely despise that field, because that field is being replaced with, by, that should be people that should be doctors and coroners, are replaced by people with a PhD in something. Well, public health is statistical. Public health is controlling the herd. Look into it. I have looked into it. In public health, and there's another one. I mean, I did research on Grok. I got into a fight on Grok. If you push Grok enough, it'll give you the right answer. Basically, it's management of death and life. Are you useful to society, and should society basically make space in a hospital bed or in general to someone that just doesn't have anything to offer the world anymore? And I'm just going to lay it out there, because that's what it is. And you guys know it. And I worked in a nursing home starting in 1980. And then I started nursing school to either 81 or 82. And let me tell you something, the nursing of that age, because I did all kinds of searches on Grok and discussions, and I spent probably a week researching this. Took, and I have four nurse cousins. We used to only have a couple of nursing schools here. One is, and I may have talked about this already, one is Marquette. Well, in my day, like, or when I was a teenager. Well, I was a teenager when I started. When I started nursing school, and nursing I started when I was 18, and nursing school I began when I was 19, and I turned 20 at that point, just for, for LPN in at a tech school. So you had two tech schools, one in Milwaukee County, one in Waukesha County, and you had a couple of private programs. One was like at Columbia Hospital, which was closed up due to Obamacare again. And I mean, it just was okay. Don't. I mean, I'll go on for an hour to give you the reasons why, but okay. But that's what I mean. They consolidated with a hospital about a mile away, and which is just one of the worst places to go in the city now. It's loaded with people that stabbed each other, shot each other, got in domestic fights, blah 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 blah. Okay, and so you had a couple of private hospitals that had 3-year programs. I can't remember the exact details. I'm talking about just in my area. And then you had UWM, and then you had which I don't know that many women that went to UWM, and then you had Marquette, which was very, very, very hard to get into, and then you had out in Madison, you had the University of Wisconsin Madison, which was very hard to get into. I mean, you needed to be top notch, cream of the crop in grades, cream of the crop, blah 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 blah. And I tested and took my testing and all that for my program. Um, which is when I found out, I had a well above average IQ, which sometimes I really don't feel like I do, but not these days because my brain was partially taken out. No, wait, let me take that back. No, it's just I had trauma and I kind of going up and down. I noticed something changing um, since then. And then the sepsis can also cause early Alzheimer's. So let's hope not, right? But and when I asked like nurses that were taking care of my mom, I didn't really have any issues, with the cancer nurses and my dad. I mean, well, I never really asked them, but I just said, like, what are you an RA? Are you a bachelor's? Did you go to tech? It's none of your business. I'm not telling you that. Oh, it's just I was a former nurse and aide and blah 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 blah. Oh, well, I'm not talking to you about that. And then I'm like banned from the hospital. I swear to God, this happened to me. That was one of the reasons. Like I was asking questions. I actually just wanted to. I was interested actually in the program, but on Grok it said that at the time, and then I had four cousins that all graduated from Mount Mary or from um, Marquette University. Very high level, lots of money, lots of investment. But their father was in oil and had shitloads of money. I mean, I know he did. I used to see his trades come through the desk when I worked at a brokerage firm. I'm so glad I got out of that field when I did. But I retained my knowledge. And as Grok told me at the time, and they went in the 70s. and graduated, and we're all working at the exact same hospital, which I won't say, um, which was one of the best hospitals ever. Um, was again, that's full of gunshot wounds and all this bullshit now. Babies with coughs. And Grok said that it was more of a holistic approach back when I went, which is no longer done. It's now just, basically kind of a numbers game. What can should we keep this patient alive or not? And for some reason, no one ever brings this up. I mean, everyone made fun of Sarah Palin. She said she used the word death panels, but she could have gotten more into depth with that. But it's true. I Okay. And my Some Girls channel, I will be posting. I did get I talked about this too, the prelim reports back for my mom. Um, I just really feel the only people that would understand this would be people that have either had similar situations, possibly children's health depends. You'd have to be a medical person to understand the horrific things that were going on in that poor lady's body. And we have not, probably in August, we'll be getting the tissue samples, the toxicology, and not to gross you out, the brain results. Um, I mentioned Michael Tracy. I tweeted back to him. I said, listen, you know, I said, Maha isn't like, he said it was a campaign slogan. Yeah, it was actually a campaign slogan before that, and it's more of a movement that is sort of apolitical. So I don't really count that, but he's such a fucking purist. Probably blocked me by now because I came back to him and I showed him a screenshot. It's not the same thing, I said. I don't think it is. I think to be healthy is good. I don't think that under Trump we're healthy. Then there was another chick that totally I support from the channel. Um, and she's come on, and always was watch my videos and shit. I still love you, darling. She thinks Iran's gonna, come in here and bomb us and we're not safe. Who knows? I highly doubt that. The chances of that happening are like 1 in 2 trillion. I mean, they're not going to do it. They don't even have the weapons capability to do it. Dream on. Another country, Milikowski's country, would easily do it. They'd be like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's get a false flag going because we want to take over every country over there. Okay. So if you're still with me, so getting back to the couple from Iran, I felt bad for them because I thought, God, they don't really have much. And I was trying to think of things I could give them that might help them out. They were a young married couple. I don't know how old they are, in their 40s. I don't know. And I didn't want to be one of those bitches that was overtly negative toward them. And then, and this was an all-year-old building right up until last couple months. Then there's another couple because they come up and tell me. They don't even like say hi. My name is such and such. It's just I'm a student. Okay, what is your name? You know what I mean? So I wanted to be nice. So I have this little 5,000 BTU AC unit, which cools down a bedroom, cools down a small room. And I have this huge ass, like 1,100, 1,000 square feet, whatever the hell it is. And they have much, much smaller. It's basically, your living room, kitchen, dining area, bedroom, bathroom. You know. And if you pop it in there and use a fan, it's going to cool it down. There was one summer where I used it to cool down my entire place that I have now. So it's in my storage locker. So then there's the Indian dude who he doesn't understand me. I don't understand him, and that's fine. He comes up to me with his wife too. We're students. I'm like, oh, okay. Not hi, hello, how are you? We're students. Oh. So anyway, but they're so the two Iranian people, they are veterinarians, or they were in Iran. So they're smart. And I thought finally some smart people with a scientific brain. So a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I believe, I went outside and I opened the door and they're sitting out there. I think somebody was smoking a cigarette and then they were chatting. So you had, I was just going to use a very bad term, the Indian dude who got a new pair of glasses, okay? And then you have the Iranian couple. Okay, and it's about 100 degrees out. And I said, well, hi. And, I went downstairs and we were just talking about, this is what they said to me. We were just talking about how hot it is in here. I said, oh, yeah, I know. It's extremely bad. You're on the third floor. Like, duh. It's a 100-year-old building, 125-year-old building. What do you expect? The sun is beating down on this sucker most of the day. And they're on the east facing side. I'm on the west facing side. I'm getting it all day. And it's hotter than fucking here. I mean, my bedroom, I have a little thermometer. I don't know why. I'm just moving stuff around. I happen to have it in this bedroom. All right, one of my bedrooms. And it's 90. It could be more than that right now. But I've got a ceiling fan and another fan on me right now. But oh boy, it got really hot in here. Oh, I was just so miserable and I wasn't sleeping. Plus, I'm in so much pain when I go to bed. I mean, it wouldn't matter really, honestly, what pain. I would have to do like an IV morphine just to get out of it. Maybe with some Demerol and a muscle relaxant. I'm just saying I'm obviously not going to happen. Good luck getting a prescription for anything right now. And I get one a day. And I have muscle relaxers if I need them. But they're old technology. I won't take anything after 19 that was developed after 1976. And most of the time, I wouldn't even take the whole thing. I'd break it in half or something. Okay, whatever. And that's true. I mean, I could never take one at once. I would be like on the floor. I mean, my body just wouldn't support it, right? I just don't have enough weight to support a dose like that. And so I'm laying here and I thought to myself, what the fuck did I give them that damn air conditioner for? I could use it in my back bedroom because I have another one in the front of the house. So what happens is I take these kids downstairs. They're not kids, I know. I just said it. These H-1Bs. Um, I believe they're all both H-1Bs, but they're not going to go anywhere. I'll tell you that. And they tell the Indian guy to come along, and I'm like, okay, because I said I've got a little unit in my basement. If you want to borrow it, you can. I said, but how much do you want for it? I said, no. I said, you can borrow it, but I need it back. You give it back to me when you move, when this happens, or when you leave, when you move, when you don't need it, when the summer's over. I mean, 4 times I must have said, I do want it back. I need it back. I want you to give it back when you're finished using it. It'd sort of be like, can I borrow a measuring cup? Or here's a good one. Can I borrow your car to do A, B, C, D? I'll just keep it. No, I want the car back because I have 2 cars too, two vehicles. So what happens? I said, well, just, you know, chop, chop, follow me down to the storage locker. It's right there. And just look at it and tell me what you think. It's very light. Well, I used to be able to move it around, but I can lift it and I can move it, but not very well. I think I'd probably drop it on my foot if I tried to do that now, break my foot again. Okay, so I take them to the storage locker. I said, this is going to take like 1 minute. Oh, we're waiting for friends, blah, blah. They're always waiting for friends. I just don't think they can understand me that well. Maybe they can, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they pretend not to. Who the hell knows? So the Iranian guy gives it. I said, well, just pick it up and take it up there. And then if you don't want to use it or whatever, just put it outside my storage locker and just tell me. Just that simple. I kept saying that over and over. When you're finished, put it outside this door right here. This is in the basement. Oh my God. And these are scientists. That are in college here, doing English, and one of them's working on a fucking global warming project, which don't even get me, or excuse me, climate change project, which don't even get me going on that. I mean, that's what they're concerned about in public health, climate change and asthma. Take the chemicals out of the fucking air that you're putting there, and that will cut your asthma rate down. Oh, it's a very polluted city to begin with. So, okay, let's make sure. Did I turn the mic? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. So, okay, they take it up. Next, I see him a couple days later. I'm like, is that working out okay for you guys? They said, well, it's really not doing much. I'm thinking, oh, okay. That's nice. And all of a sudden, someone knocks on my door on a Sunday when I am doing, like, I was either detailing, cleaning, or staining a table or a chair. I'm not joking that I do a lot of stuff like that in my spare time. And I mean, I know that I was doing something chore related, and I had this like t-shirt and underwear on. And I was going to take a shower and go grocery shopping or something. All of a sudden, I hear this knock at the door, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't answer the door like this. I said, well, hang on. Ran, or not ran, crouched back to the back of the place, grabbed my bathrobe, put it on. I said, I'm sorry, I'm just in the middle of doing some chores here. And he gave me some goo. I don't know what the fuck it was, in a little container. And he said, most Americans don't like this, but we wanted to give you an Iranian meal. It really wasn't a meal. I mean, it was like baby food, okay? It was a puree of something. I asked him what it was, Bob. I couldn't tell you what the hell it was. I mean, I never heard of it before. Okay. I tried it. It was fine. It tasted like carrots with Like maybe pureed carrots with sweetener, not with sweet. Yeah, okay. But I'm not eating food from some. Last time I ate a plate of food from someone else, I got violently ill for a month. So okay, okay, so that's finished. So I'm walking down the street, going to a salon to get my eyes waxed, or excuse me, using my crutches. And it was just, it was like the part of the afternoon was absolutely fucking perfect, and everybody you passed was in a good mood. And of course, people are always saying, "Do you need help?" Because I live in one of those kinds of neighborhoods. And, a lot of boomers walking their dogs, shit like that. Old liberal boomers. And all of a sudden, I hear someone go, hey, Colleen, really loud. And I went, well, okay, what's up? And I turned my body around, and it's the dude went on one side and the chick went on the other side of me. They said, we can't talk. We've got to hurry to catch a bus, which I believed because they were like pretty much doing a slow jog and they're in excellent shape, like I used to be. Well, I probably still am in better shape than most people. And I'm wishing to myself, God, I wish I could. And they said they were going to REI. They're catching the bus to. I said, which one? They don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm assuming it's one that's about. It's fairly far away. I mean, they could ride their bikes there. It's not that bad. They're just afraid to go through the hood. Um. So they go out there, or let me tell you, I don't know what they would be going out there to buy on a bus and bring home on a bus, right? Like they didn't even have a purse, a bag, anything with them, a backpack, nothing. I thought, all right, whatever. They probably okay. But if you were going to buy outerwear, for example, it's very expensive. Most of the stuff there, unless the store changed, I mean, it's top dollar price. Unless now they have discount bullshit in there. But I mean, I still have things that I purchased 25 years ago in that store that I still use. And no joke, really. Um, I have like a bag, over the shoulder bag that I use for hiking and for the trail and that type of thing. Just to name one, I use it right now. It's in 100% perfect condition. Clothing, jackets, um, running suits for the winter. But I guess you're not supposed to do that because people can just hit you now, and run you over, and there aren't any consequences because it's your fault that you were out. Okay, so I'm thinking, wow, okay, we've got some cash. Oh, they know what's up, whatever. But next day, I'm getting something out of my truck because I'm going through these stupid boxes that my after my mom died, and it's hard for me to carry him up the stairs. Blah blah blah. Waited for the sun to go down. I thought I'm just gonna run out to my car quick. Well, not really, but So I get to the car, get to the truck. I'm walking towards the door because it was parked on the other side of the street and all this shit. Okay, a little bit further. It wasn't like right outside. It was like I had to go a little bit. And as I'm walking, I notice they now have a second, bigger air conditioner. And I'm thinking, oh, hell no. So, according to sort of what I said, it would be like, could you return this when you're finished with it? Instead, does this make sense to anyone? I don't know. I have people are having a hard time. It was sort of like a loan, sort of like you loan someone your car. You can use this for a week. I need it back. I mean, I've done that within my family a couple of times where somebody, their car breaks down, blah blah blah. Here you go. Just give it back to me when you're finished. But it would be like, okay, no, we're going to buy another car and we're going to each have one now. So their entire apartment was totally cool. And I'm still sitting here roasting my ass off. But I honestly, just so you know where my heart is, my heart and my head was, I'll give up. I will sacrifice to help someone that I don't think is a lot of money, that just got to this country, that just moved in here, didn't really realize how fucking hot it was in here. The right thing, in my opinion, would have been to buy a big enough one to cool down the whole apartment, which it appeared that they did. And if they used a fan, they would have been just fine in their bedroom. Because I am. It took me a while. I just had to get a different fan and, that type of thing. And yeah, it's hot, but, just would it, whatever. Would I have wanted to have my second AC unit in here? Oh, yeah. So I wrote them a note. And I basically said, and it was like 11:30 at night. I was fuming. I thought they're really pushing it. They come here, they take advantage of our country. They take, I mean, had I said something, I don't believe oh, this is something I was going to tell you that I didn't on the story, is that the dude from Iran, after I said he could loan, I would loan him. I said, you can borrow it, but I kept saying, I do want it back. I must have said that 4 times in like this 5-minute exchange. The Indian, he gives it to the Indian dude. The Indian dude starts walking up to his apartment with it, all excited. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know it was him because he changed his glasses. I went, whoa. I said, wait a minute. I just offered, I didn't even know him. You know, I walked past him a couple times, but I didn't know it was him because he got these huge, like, horn rimmed, oversized glasses, and I honestly didn't recognize him. And I went, and he starts walking off with it. And I look at the couple from Iran and I said, no, I think you misunderstood me. I, I'm, I'm letting you borrow it, not him. I mean, it's not yours to let someone else have because I don't know what they're making in that place. I don't want that thing. I don't know how they keep house. I don't want all kinds of crap. I know that sounds like shit, but I was under the impression by seeing the inside of their apartment that they were very neat and very kept up, or very clean. I don't know what the other people are doing over there. I don't even know who the hell they are. I didn't even recognize the guy. That's how little I know him. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. Then the Iranian chick steps in and she says, no, she can give it to whoever. And then it started to become give it. But I kept saying, I want it back. It's a loan. Is that so hard for someone to understand? But then they not only, oh yeah, now we'll have two. We'll have our bedroom nice and cold, and we'll have our living area nice and cold too. And I thought, oh hell no. because I'm blonde, non-fat, green eyes. It's just sort of like I feel like I was being taken advantage of. Like, who gives a shit about her? That's how I felt. Now you might not see it that way, but I felt that. I felt like, okay, so now that you have one, please give me mine back so that I may use it because, it's hot here and I'm recovering from some very serious injuries still. Yes, at 2 years I am. So I don't really feel like we have a country anymore. I mean, I have no desire for these people to be let in on these H-1Bs to go study at the college that I paid my tax dollars to fund. My state, we have state tax and federal tax and city tax here and county tax. My grandparents built this city on both sides, paternal and maternal. My parents, my mom didn't. Well, okay, we'll say my parents did. I did. I've been working since I was 12 years old. Don't you fucking dare come in here and take advantage of everything and then take advantage of someone being actually quite frankly overly nice. Because I am that way to my neighbors. So no, I'm not feeling like we have independence. I don't I know this is going to sound really shitty, but unless you've actually contributed something to this country for at least one or two generations, I just don't feel like you have a right to anything, any of our benefits, any of our shit. I'm just going to say no. Just say no. But to just come in here and just because you're attractive and in shape, think you can come in here and roll over and rape the citizens of my city, of my area, of my community. And that's how I feel. No, I don't think it's okay. I guess what I'm getting at is just like the attitude sort of. I think I swore, which I swear all the time. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "Well, I came to this. That's why I came to this country." I said, "What, to hear people swear?" He said, "No, so you could just be yourself." Yeah, they're being themselves, okay. But now, does anyone else have an issue with this? I just, like I wrote them a note. I said, kindly, please return mine. I notice now you have one because I'm going to use it myself here. Please take it out of the window and put it in the hallway. How did they give it back to me? They didn't drain the water out and it was dirty. And here I am, with the broken pelvis, blah, 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 pubis ramus. I don't know. Something's really fucked up in there. I'll tell you that. In pain, moving this thing, which really isn't that heavy, but it's maybe 40 some pounds. I just said, oh, and then all this water is coming out all over the place. And I'm like, fuck these people. They are shit. So I hope they learned their lesson. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe if you're younger, you don't get it. Again, I mean, if you're living in a place with central air and you haven't really had to put up with this shit before, or can't remember what it's like, it's bad. Like when I'm alone, I just walk around in a t-shirt and undies. Well, and they're not granny panties. I don't even get granny panties. Who the fuck wears those? They're very nice Vanity Fair bikinis. Thank you. You know, I mean, I don't get people today. I don't, in Boomerville, where I come from, that would be like a hell no. That'd be like, let's get the guys together, knock on the door, and take that fucking thing back. Apparently, he ran his tub over a few weeks ago, a couple days after he got here. Forgot the water was running, flooded out the person's uh, downstairs, flooded out her bathroom. Well, she had people over. And they're hogging the whole fucking backyard and everything. I am, you know, locking their bikes up there. And I would never keep a bicycle outside. No way. Yeah, it's locked up, but that doesn't mean shit. You guys know that. Until you've had a couple stolen, you don't get it that either. Unless until you've actually been just continually fucked over by people. And I just think it's I got my hair part of my hair cut. I started taking this. I cut it kind of weird intentionally, just the bang area, just a section of the bang area, and it makes like my eyes just shoot out green. And I'm taking this very high quality vitamin A, and it just made my green eyes just stand out. The blonde hair, little son, short. It's a shorter. I got a bunch of hair cut off, which is growing. But I take all these vitamins and shit. It grows really fast. And I look very American, and just to be taken advantage of. Oh, she won't carry. Oh yeah, I do care. I don't know. I just don't want these people in here. Get the stupid Gen Xers. No offense to any Gen Xers out there, off their fucking asses and fucking start up the draft and put them over to fight these fucking wars that Trump wants to start. I can't even believe anyone would enlist. I certainly hope they aren't. And then you go to, the Schofield Bible crap. No, I don't know. This might be in my bookmark tabs. I'm using a couple of other computers right now. This one tends to um, I'm not going to go through all my bookmarks. Let's see. Oh, wait, let's go back. Mm, not that. Um, this website is called. Oops, let's go back quickly. True Catholic Faith. Try our new Latin prayer course today. Oh my God, I need to do that. I'm gonna come back and do it. Oh yeah, yeah. If you're Catholic, just try it. You just so much because you're really it's hard to describe. But doesn't the Bible say we must bless Israel to be blessed? What a load of fuck. Many Protestants, the big huge shopping mall type churches, big box, like going to Big Lots. Is that place still open? Many Protestants and even some ill-informed modern Catholics, they put that in quotes, believe that God still promises blessings to those who bless Israel, often referring to Genesis 12:3. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, and like, okay, the Bible wasn't written in like 1940s, right? Can you imagine supporting people that bomb children and cut their throats off and then say they're going to feed them and then kill them on sight? What the fuck? And you think that's cool? And you think someone from Iran is going to come and just like slam the door down and bomb the fuck out of you, right? Overnight while you're sleeping. No, overnight while I'm sleeping, the government is messing around. Probably most of these men are having anal sex with each other and getting drunk and staying at the Ritz Carlton on our dime. Holy fuck. Or the Ritz DC or whatever. Like that Mike Johnson boy. What do they have on him, boys? He a tool. Holy shit, what a little fucker he is. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm talking about prayer here. I'm a sinner. I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee, and these shall all the kindred of the earth to be blessed. They interpret Israel to mean the modern day state of Israel or the ethnic Jewish people or the Palestinians, suggesting that supporting them. Do you guys have an old globe at home? Look at that. Suggesting that supporting them politically or religiously guarantees divine favor. Oh my gosh, sort of like a plenary indulgence. Yikes! This interpretation is profoundly mistaken and contradicts Catholic teaching. Catholic teaching on Abraham's promise. Genesis 12:3 refers to a promise made to Abraham, not to unbelieving Jews in perpetuity. The Church Fathers and St. Paul in the New Testament clarified that the blessing through Abraham is fulfilled in Christ, not in ethnic descendants. St. Paul writes, "Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to the seeds, as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ." Thus, the Catholic seed of Abraham and all who are united to Christ by faith and baptism in the Catholic Church are heirs of the promise. If you be Christ's, then are you the seed of Abraham, heirs according to the promise. The Church is the new Israel. The Catholic Church, not modern Israel or unbelieving Jews, is the new Israel. Galatians 616, the Israel of God. The Old Covenant was fulfilled and superseded by the New Covenant in Christ's blood. The Church teaches that the old law has ceased with the coming of Christ. Pope Pius X, when asked by his Highness in 1904 whether the Church recognizes the Jewish people, replied, "The Jewish religion was the true religion until the coming of Christ, but since that time it has ceased to be." Pope Saint Pius X. Therefore, to bless the true Israel today means to support the Church, Catholic Church, and remain faithful to Christ, not to give political or religious approval to those who reject the Messiah. So I could go on with this one, and actually, this is a very good article, but I can't get this to go up. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Here we go. All right. If you listen to this entire thing, I don't know how you made it through. Let me know what you think.